I have ranked my top 5 teams that could sign Colin Kaepernick here, and in my eyes, I think they're all perfect for Colin Kaepernick. So let's go with number 5 here, and we'll start things off with the Denver Broncos. Now, the Broncos quarterback situation is rickety, to say the least. Of course, they signed Case Keenum. But are you guys really buying into Case Keenum being a quality starting quarterback 2 years in a row? Right? I mean, we know who Case Keenum is. If you look at the entirety of his career, you look at the entire sample size, he's not a good quarterback, and he's not a top 15 quarterback in my eyes. Now, last year he was, but if you're John Elway and your Denver leadership here, are you banking on Case Keenum and, rolling the dice a little bit here that maybe, he'll be good again? It certainly is a roll of the dice, like I just said. Now, even if he does play well, Paxton Lynch has proven not to be a quality backup quarterback. All right, so I think the jury is no longer out on Paxton Lynch. He's not good, and I don't think he's going to get good. So in that vein, I think Colin Kaepernick at least would be a viable backup option for the Denver Broncos. I have the sense of what is there to lose here if you're Denver? I mean, you lost out on the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, and sure, we'll monitor what they do at number 5 overall in terms of drafting a rookie quarterback. Now, I will point this out. Last August, Vance Joseph didn't rule out bringing in Colin Kaepernick when Denver was dealing with the shoulder injury to Paxton Lynch. Vance Joseph had to address questions about perhaps bringing in Cap as a quarterback, whether it was a starter or in a backup role. He certainly didn't say that he didn't want Kaepernick on the squad. And last November, Kaepernick's agent identified the Broncos as a possible destination for Kaepernick. So that's another point in favor of putting Denver here. Now, one other thing worth noting. John Elway is a big President Trump supporter, and as we know, Trump has been quite, shall we say, vocal about, the kneeling and all that has gone on during the national anthem. And that said, Kaepernick has said that he won't kneel if given a chance in the NFL. So, if you look at that, okay, he's not going to kneel during the national anthem anymore. And Eric Reed, a safety, former safety for the 49ers, has said the same thing. What's the holdup? That's what I want to know. If he's no longer going to do something that you don't want him to do, why are you still waiting out and not giving this guy a shot? So Denver's at number 5 on my list. Checking in with number 4 here, we'll stay in the AFC West. And I've got the Los Angeles Chargers on this slot. So this is a situation of an aging quarterback with little insurance behind him. So Phillip Rivers is 36 years old. His backup is Geno Smith. And I know they just signed this guy, but Geno Smith is not good. Now, word is that the Chargers may be in the running for a rookie quarterback, similarly to the Denver Broncos. But even still, I think Kaepernick would make sense here. So, yeah, we can kind of monitor the rookie quarterback situation with the Chargers, and maybe they trade up or something like that, or maybe they can somehow grab Lamar Jackson at number 17. From what I'm hearing, they're possibly interested in Lamar. And Rivers is as durable as they come at quarterback. There's no doubt about that. But, again, he is 36 years old. He's also not Tom Brady, where, I doubt Phillip Rivers will win an MVP the rest of his career. It's just a fact. So, I mean, in that vein, there's still the possibility that Rivers could get injured if the offensive line doesn't perform well or anything like that. And then you're trotting out Geno Smith to play quarterback. And Giants fans know this well. Geno Smith started for a game in 2017. Spoiler alert, he wasn't good. So there you go. They still have a talented team around Rivers, by the way. And if Rivers does get hurt, God forbid, you can trot out Colin Kaepernick, and you got a quality team around him. Melvin Gordon at the running back position. Keenan Allen is a really solid wide receiver. In fact, one of the under-the-radar top 15 wide receivers in the NFL. You got Hunter Henry there at tight end, who's emerging. Virgil Green, recently signed. He's going to help in run blocking. Plus a fantastic defense. We'll see what they do with Trey Boston. He's a free agent. Maybe Boston comes back, but You got Casey Hayward, one of the premier cornerbacks in the NFL that nobody seems to talk about. Trevor Williams as well, a really solid corner. So all of that kind of fits in with potentially Colin Kaepernick coming on over to the LA Chargers. Let me know who you think is the best fit, though, for Colin. Hit me up with the team that you think should look into Colin Kaepernick to play quarterback. Not even in a starting role. I'm just talking about maybe as a backup, as a third stringer. Maybe just to bring him in to work out. You know, it doesn't have to be something extreme here. So certainly let me know with your thoughts here. And, I see Tyler, Jay, Theo all chiming in about what they think. All right, so keep it up. Appreciate it. All right, let's get into team number 3 here, the New England Patriots. Yes, I've got the Patriots here, and for a few reasons. Number one, the Patriots have a backup by the name of Brian Hoyer. As you see in parentheses, not good. Now, Brady will be 41 years old once the season starts in 2018. And there's also been chatter about New England may wanting to grab a rookie quarterback in the draft. That's fine. However, that's a big if. And it's possible, they flaunt their draft capital that they have within the first couple of rounds and see what they can do. Apparently, they have their eye on Josh Rosen, and that's coming from, an anonymous source too. So, take that with a grain of salt. And they also have the Bills to compete with in terms of trading up to get Josh Rosen too, because I think the Bills like Rosen a lot in the draft. But why not give Colin Kaepernick a workout, see what he can do with the New England Patriots? At the very least, he'd be better than Brian Hoyer and provide a unique challenge for Patriots defenders during OTAs and mandatory minicamp and training camp. Because Tom Brady is the ultimate statue, pocket passer. Colin Kaepernick, not so much. He can move. He's deceptive. He can kind of challenge Patriots defenders during camps. So it kind of provides that other realm of quarterback ability there. At the very least, that's what Kaepernick can do here. Now, Bill Belichick is another reason why I have New England on this list. He doesn't give a crap about what the outside noise thinks. All Bill Belichick cares about is putting his team in the best position to win a football game. If he thinks that bringing in Colin Kaepernick helps aid in that goal, then he will look into signing this guy. Now, Bill Belichick carries a lot of weight in terms of Patriots decision-making, albeit maybe not with the whole Jimmy Garoppolo trade, because apparently Bill Belichick didn't want to trade Jimmy G and all that stuff. But Bill Belichick is still Billy B, and he carries a lot of decision-making there with the Patriots organization. So does Tom Brady, though. I mean, he's a quasi-GM in a sense, and Brady has said before that he hopes Colin Kaepernick gets a shot, and that he's always actually admired Colin Kaepernick and, what he's doing. So Tom Brady seems to give his endorsement for Colin. Bill Belichick, notoriously has gone against the grain in terms of offseason additions and signings and trades and all of that stuff. So why not think the New England Patriots would be a good option here for Colin Kaepernick? The Patriots like to, do things their own way, the Patriot way, shall we say. And, there's an opportunity there to kind of slight Roger Goodell as well. We know how the Patriots and Roger have their little rivalry. And with Colin Kaepernick and that ongoing collusion case against the National Football League, ooh, that'd be a fun headline there if the Patriots bring him in and just be like, ha, take that, Roger. Something like that. All right? So we got the Patriots there at number 3. Let's go to number 2 on my list. The New Orleans Saints. So similar logic here as with New England, except in this case, it's Drew Brees. He's on the back 9 of his career, to say a seasonal metaphor here because the Masters is going on. And who knows what can happen in terms of the health department here with Drew. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to get hurt or anything like that, but Drew Brees did once say that he'd be interested in having Colin Kaepernick aboard with the New Orleans Saints if, it makes sense for the interests of the team. Drew Brees is also 39 years old. He's not quite Tom Brady age, but, he's getting up there. Sean Payton, meanwhile, has once, been vocal about supporting his players if they choose to kneel or whatever the case may be during the national anthem. So maybe that kind of environment is there, and worthwhile for Colin Kaepernick. Here's what Drew said about Kaepernick last year. Whatever the decisions our team make, our teams make, those are in the best interest of the team, I would embrace it. So he's willing to do whatever puts the Saints in a good position going forward. And if the team thinks that Colin Kaepernick going on to that roster makes the Saints a better team, then Drew Brees would embrace it. Now, the Saints recently signed Tom Savage as Brees' backup. Savage is quite awful, okay? In 2017, 56 completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 1-6 record as a starter. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that Tom Savage is a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. Come on, folks. I challenge you. Can you say it? Because it'd be pretty hard to say so. It'd be hard for me to say so because Tom Savage is not better than Colin Kaepernick at the quarterback position. I think he would be a fun addition to the Saints. I do. And, I think Sean Payton being vocal about supporting his players and whatever they do and whatever, they want to say and using the First Amendment and all that, I think is very notable because even if Colin Kaepernick, chooses to kneel during the national anthem, which he said he will not, by the way, looks like Sean Payton would be okay with it. Now, keep hitting me up in the comments section here on the Cam Rogers Show in terms of what you think about Colin Kaepernick and where you think he should head in the 2018 NFL season. All right, so the Saints are at number 2. Let's get to number 1 on my list. It's very obvious. It's the Seattle Seahawks for a few reasons here. Number 1, they recently released Trayvon Boykin, and so they are very much in the backup quarterback market. The Seahawks were the only team last year to actually physically bring in Colin Kaepernick for a visit. Now, the Ravens were publicly supportive of perhaps giving Kaepernick a shot, but apparently the owner, Steve Bisciotti, said no, and we all know how that happened and how all that went down. Now, the Seahawks mantra is always compete. So let me ask you this. Who brings more competition for Russell Wilson at quarterback? Colin Kaepernick or Austin Davis, who was on the roster for Seattle a year ago? Or even put it this way, Colin Kaepernick or Trayvon Boykin, who now has legal troubles and all that stuff. So another point here is Seattle's new offensive line coach, Mike Solari, was in San Francisco during Kaepernick's glory years with the 49ers. So Solari can kind of help Cap adjust to the Hawks and vice versa, help the Hawks adjust to Cap and kind of create some sort of chemistry there between the two sides. And look, a viable backup quarterback goes a long way for NFL teams out there, especially for NFL teams with playoff aspirations such as the Seattle Seahawks. Just look no further than the Philadelphia Eagles. What happened when Carson Wentz got hurt and Nick Foles came in to play the quarterback position? What happened with the media noise and all of that? Except for me. Everybody didn't buy into Nick Foles. They didn't give the Eagles a chance. I said a million times here on these airwaves that Nick Foles was a Super Bowl quarterback at the time. What happened? He went on to win the Super Bowl. All right, so backup quarterbacks mean a lot. We may not talk about them a lot because they're backups, but having insurance, especially when you're looking at a team with a really bad offensive line, especially in pass protection, and a quarterback that's, going to be ad-libbing a little bit in Russell Wilson, and that can get him into trouble sometimes. Obviously, having a solid backup quarterback there on that roster is important. Colin Kaepernick can kind of be that guy. And last season, Pete Carroll wrote off bringing in Colin Kaepernick to the Seahawks because he thought that Cap was a starter. And so he thought that Kaepernick would get offers to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So he didn't, bring him in and didn't show any interest. Well, now we know that Kaepernick just wants a shot in the league, not a starting gig. So I think Seattle gives him that chance better than any team across the board here. All right, so let's summarize my rankings. Top 5 teams that could sign Colin Kaepernick, and I think they're all pretty good. So I got Seattle at 1, New Orleans at 2, the New England Patriots check in at number 3, the LA Chargers at number 4, and the Denver Broncos check in at number 5 on my list.